Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm glad to share my podcast about my hobbies. I am an ordinary man, and I live a simple life. I work during the week, and like many people, I wait for my free time because that is when I can relax and do the things I really enjoy. I think hobbies are very important in life because they help people stay happy, healthy, and mentally strong. Without hobbies, life would be only work and stress, and that is not good for anyone. In my case, hobbies help me to disconnect from daily problems. When I finish work, I often feel tired both physically and mentally. But when I start doing something I like, I feel my energy slowly coming back. Sometimes I just need a quiet activity, and sometimes I want something active. It depends on my mood, but I always try to do at least one hobby every day, even if I only have a little time. I don't have expensive hobbies, and I don't need special equipment or a lot of money. I prefer simple activities that make me feel good. For me, the best hobbies are the ones I can do easily at home, outside in nature, or with friends. I think hobbies should not be stressful or difficult. They should be fun, relaxing, and natural. In this podcast, I will talk about different hobbies that are part of my life. I will explain what I do, how often I do it, and why I like it. I will also share how each hobby makes me feel and what I learn from it. Some hobbies help me relax, some help me learn new things, and some help me stay active. I hope this podcast will be interesting for you. Maybe you will hear something that sounds familiar, or maybe you will get ideas for your own free time. Hobbies are different for every person, but I believe everyone needs at least one thing that brings joy outside of work or school. One of my most important hobbies is reading books, and I can honestly say that it plays a big role in my life. I usually read almost every day, especially in the evening after work, when everything becomes quiet and I finally have time for myself. After a long and busy day, reading helps me slow down, relax my thoughts, and feel calm again. I like to create a small, cozy atmosphere. I sit in my chair or on my bed. Sometimes I turn on a small lamp and I make a cup of tea or coffee. Then I open my book and just enjoy the moment. I read different types of books depending on my mood. Most of the time, I choose simple stories, adventure books, or light fiction because they are easy to understand and interesting. I also like short stories because I can finish them quickly and feel a sense of progress. Sometimes I read articles online about real life topics, travel, or science, but only in a simple form. I don't like very complicated texts because my English is still not perfect, but reading helps me improve it step by step. Every time I see a new word, I try to understand it from context, and that really helps me learn without stress. When I read, I feel like I am entering another world. My imagination becomes active, and I can see the places, people, and events in my mind. It is like watching a movie, but in my head. This is one of the best feelings for me because it takes me away from daily problems and worries. Sometimes I read for only 15 minutes and sometimes for an hour, but even a short reading session makes me feel better. I also believe that reading is a very useful hobby. It improves vocabulary, concentration, and imagination. It also helps me to relax before sleep, and I sleep better when I read instead of using my phone. That is why reading books is not just a hobby for me. It is a daily habit that supports my mind and my mood. Another hobby that I really enjoy is watching movies. I usually watch films in my free time, especially on weekends when I don't have work and I can fully relax. For me, Watching a movie is a very easy and enjoyable way to rest after a busy week. I don't need to think too much. I just sit, relax, and follow the story. I like different types of movies depending on my mood. Sometimes I watch action films because they're exciting and full of energy. Sometimes I prefer comedies because they make me laugh and help me forget stress. I also like adventure movies and sometimes documentaries, especially when they show real stories or nature. I don't usually watch very serious or very complicated films because I prefer something simple and entertaining after work. Most of the time, I watch movies at home. I make a comfortable place on my sofa. Sometimes I take snacks and I just enjoy the film. I also watch movies alone, but sometimes I watch them with friends. When I watch with friends, we can talk about the story, laugh together, and share opinions. It makes the experience more fun and social. Movies are also useful for me because I can learn English. Sometimes I watch films in English with subtitles, and it helps me improve my listening skills. I try to understand new words and how people speak in real life. It is not like studying in school. It is more natural and relaxing. For me, watching movies is not just entertainment. It is a way to rest my mind, spend good time, and sometimes learn something new. After a good movie, I feel more relaxed and ready for a new week. Another very important hobby for me is walking outside, especially in nature. I like to go for walks in the park, near trees, or sometimes in quiet streets around my home. I usually walk alone, but sometimes I go with a friend. For me, walking is a simple but very powerful way to relax my mind and feel better. I try to walk several times a week, especially in the morning or in the evening. In the morning, walking gives me energy for the whole day. In the evening, it helps me calm down after work and clear my thoughts. I don't need anything special for this hobby, only comfortable shoes and a little time. That is why I like it so much. It is easy, free, and always available. When I walk, I like to observe nature and everything around me. I see trees, birds, people, and the changing weather. Sometimes I listen to music while walking, and sometimes I just enjoy silence. Silence helps me think about my life, my plans, and my goals. It is a good time for reflection, and I often get new ideas during my walks. Walking also helps my health. I feel more active, my body feels stronger, and my mood becomes better. Even a short walk can change my day. That is why I believe walking is not just a hobby, but also a healthy habit that improves both body and mind. Another hobby that I really enjoy is cooking. I started cooking because I needed to prepare my own meals, but over time it became something I actually like and even look forward to. Now cooking is not just a duty for me. It is a hobby that helps me relax and feel creative. I usually cook at home in the evening or on weekends when I have more time and I don't need a hurry. I don't cook very complicated dishes. I prefer simple and tasty meals that don't take too long to prepare. For example, I often make pasta, rice with vegetables, eggs, or simple meat dishes. Sometimes I try new recipes that I find online, especially when I want to change something in my daily routine. Even if the result is not perfect, I still enjoy the process because I learn something new every time. Cooking makes me feel focused and calm. When I cook, I need to pay attention to small details like timing, temperature, and ingredients. This helps me forget about work and other problems. I also like the feeling of creating something with my own hands. It is satisfying to see the final dish and know that I made it myself from simple products. Another good thing about cooking is that I can share food with others. Sometimes I cook for my friends or family, and when they like my food, I feel happy and proud. It is a simple way to show care for people. Cooking also helps me save money and eat healthier because I know exactly what I put in my food. For me, cooking is both useful and enjoyable. It is a hobby that helps me in real life, but at the same time, it gives me pleasure and relaxation. That is why I continue to improve my cooking skills step by step. Music is another hobby that is very important in my life. I listen to music almost every day in different situations and moods. I listen to music when I wake up, when I go to work, when I walk outside, and when I relax at home. For me, music is always around, and it helps me feel better no matter what kind of day I have. I like different types of music, but mostly I listen to pop and soft rock. I prefer songs that are easy to understand and have a nice rhythm. Sometimes I also listen to calm music when I want to relax, and sometimes I choose more energetic songs when I need motivation. Music helps me change my mood very quickly. If I feel tired or sad, one good song can make me feel much better. Sometimes I also try to do something more active with music. I play simple songs on the guitar, even though I'm still a beginner. I don't play very well, but I enjoy learning new chords and trying to improve. It is not easy, but it is fun, and it gives me a feeling of progress when I manage to play a song from start to finish. Music also helps me focus and think. When I work or study, I often play background music because it helps me concentrate. At other times, I use music to relax and disconnect from everything. It is like a small escape from reality, and it makes my daily life more enjoyable. For me, music is not just entertainment. It is a part of my daily routine and emotions. It supports me in different moments of life, and I can't imagine my day without it. Another hobby that I have is doing sports and light exercise. I'm not a professional athlete, and I don't go to the gym every day, but I try to stay active because I understand that health is very important. I usually do simple exercises at home or go for a short workout a few times a week. Sometimes I also go for a run or do stretching in the morning. I don't follow a strict training plan. I just try to move my body regularly. For example, I do push ups, squats, and simple exercises without equipment. It doesn't take much time, but it helps me feel stronger and more energetic. Even 15 to 20 minutes of exercise can make a big difference in my day. I also like walking fast or light jogging outside. It is a good way to combine sport with fresh air. When I exercise outside, I feel more motivated because I see nature and I breathe fresh air. It also helps me clear my mind and reduce stress. After exercise, I usually feel tired, but in a good way, like I have done something useful for my body. Sometimes it is difficult to start, especially after a long work day. I feel lazy or tired, but I try to push myself because I know I will feel better after. And every time I do it, I don't regret it. This is something I learned. Motivation comes after action, not before. For me, sports and exercise are not about competition. They are about health, energy, and balance. This hobby helps me stay active and feel better in everyday life. Another hobby I enjoy is playing video games. I don't play every day, but I like gaming in my free time, especially on weekends or in the evening when I want to relax and have fun. For me, games are a good way to rest after work and switch my mind to something completely different. I like different types of games depending on my mood. Sometimes I play simple games on my phone when I have only a short break. Other times I play computer games that are more interesting and take more time. I enjoy adventure games because they have stories, missions, and different worlds. I also like strategy games because they make me think and plan my moves. Gaming is also a way to connect with other people. Sometimes I play online with friends or other players from different countries. It is interesting because I can communicate, cooperate, or compete with others. Even if we are not in the same place, we can still share a good time together. This makes gaming more social and fun. Of course, I try not to play too much. I know that too much gaming is not healthy, so I try to keep balance in my life. I usually set a time limit or stop when I feel I have played enough. It is important for me to combine gaming with other hobbies like sports, reading, and walking. For me, gaming is just one part of my free time. It gives me fun, relaxation, and sometimes even new friends, but I always try to control it and keep it balanced with real life. Another hobby I have is learning new things and improving myself. I like to use my free time not only for relaxation, but also for personal growth. I think it is important to keep learning during life, even when you are not at school or university. For me, learning is a hobby because I enjoy discovering new information and developing new skills. Most of the time, I learn English. I read simple texts, watch videos, and sometimes listen to podcasts. I try to improve my vocabulary and listening skills step by step. I don't study in a strict way like in school. I prefer to learn in a relaxed and natural way. Even 20 to 30 minutes a day is enough for me to feel progress. I also like learning about different topics like technology, history, and everyday life skills. Sometimes I watch educational videos on the internet or read short articles. I enjoy learning practical things that I can use in real life. For example, how to manage time better, how to be more productive, or how to take care of health. This hobby is not always easy because sometimes I feel lazy or tired after work, but I try to stay consistent. I believe that small steps every day are better than doing nothing. When I learn something new, I feel proud and motivated. It gives me a sense of progress and self confidence. For me, self improvement is a long journey. It is not something that finishes quickly, but I like this process because it helps me become a better version of myself little by little. In the end, I can say that my hobbies are a very important part of my life. They help me balance work and free time, and they make my everyday routine more interesting. Without hobbies, life would feel boring and stressful, but because of them, I always have something to look forward to after work or on weekends. My hobbies are simple, but they give me a lot of positive emotions. Reading helps me relax and learn new words. Watching movies entertains me and improves my English. Walking in nature gives me peace and fresh energy. Cooking helps me be creative and take care of myself. Music changes my mood and supports me in different moments. Sports keep my body active and healthy. Gaming gives me fun and connection with others. Learning helps me grow and improve as a person. Each hobby has its own value, and together they make my life more balanced. Some hobbies are quiet and relaxing, and some are active and energetic. This mix is very important for me because it helps me feel good both physically and mentally. I don't think hobbies need to be expensive or complicated. The most important thing is to enjoy them and feel happy while doing them. Everyone can find something they like, even in small things. You just need to try and explore. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope it was interesting and maybe it gave you some ideas for your own hobbies.
Tell me why you want to learn English. The 3 most interesting comments will get 10 English lessons absolutely free.